Well, Samantha, thanks for talking to us. So, 10 years, Oprah's around for 10 years in this country.
Isn't it wonderful? And, we are still the only international version of the magazine. People are always surprised when I say that to them, that it's not published anywhere else in the world. So it's a great endorsement from Oprah. And, our readers have been so loyal and supported us so amazingly over the last 10 years.
So let's get this right. You're saying that the only version of Oprah Magazine outside of the USA is in South Africa.
That's right.
So why is that? It doesn't make sense to me, because Oprah, obviously, as we know, is a global brand, and sort of cut and paste a certain market in this country should apply to any other country.
Well, that was really Oprah's decision. She felt that the place that she wanted to do another version of her magazine, or an international version of the magazine, was South Africa. And apparently it has been proposed to her several times to do the magazine in other countries. But I think it really, we should credit Jane Raffaelli with the vision she saw the magazine, the US version, and she was incredibly determined to see the South African women changed by this magazine. And it was her tenacity that really brought the magazine to South Africa. She didn't let Oprah get away with it. She doesn't take no for an answer.
Well, maybe that's a credit to why South Africa works when you have people like that, isn't it?
Absolutely.
All right, so 10 years in, it's a time for celebration, also time to sort of mark the magazine in terms of its impact. So we'll talk about impact in a second. Let's talk about celebrations. What's being planned?
Oh gosh, it really is a year of celebration for us. And, we thought 10 years, it's such a big milestone, and our readers are so loyal that we didn't want to do just one short burst. Our birthday month is April, and that's the issue that's on shelf at the moment. And I'm sure you've seen it's a beautiful gatefold cover.
Yes.
With not one but 9 Oprahs. And so we're launching the birthday celebrations in that issue, which is kicking off with a lunch in May at the Table Bay Hotel, where we're going to host 100 readers. And then throughout the year, we are going to do little events. We were talking about what we would do and how we would roll it all out. And 10 years ago, we would do an event for 3,000 people, and it would be one short, sharp burst of energy and enthusiasm. And, over the years, we've seen that readers want more events. They want a bigger reach. They want us to get to all the different places in South Africa, which we're not always able to do.
But it does mean you're not going to get Oprah for like 15 different short events, isn't it?
No, it definitely. Her schedule doesn't allow. But we are planning the big celebration will be in September. The magazine is going to be doing a retrospective of 10 years, and if her schedule allows, which I'm certainly hoping, like all the other readers, she will definitely be there then to celebrate with us. But she certainly couldn't be at all of them now.
But talk to me more about the Oprah listener or reader in this case here, because my sense is, we use the word groupie to talk about rock stars, and it doesn't normally fit with someone as very corporate as Oprah. But I can tell you now, and having been at one of the functions when Oprah spoke, I have a clear sense that middle class women, successful people who are home executives, supposedly very responsible people with great insights, they love Oprah, but they love her to the point of seeing her in that groupie light, if you understand what I'm saying, in a very positive sense, to say, well, she's the person that we want to be,
I think there's definitely that sense of euphoria that goes along with Oprah and with the brand. And I like to think of it, I describe it as being Oprah show ready. When you look at, most people have watched the show, and you see that energy and that enthusiasm and that fairy dust, everybody wants a little part of that kind of optimism that goes along with the Oprah brand. And I think that is more what it is. It's that positive energy. And Oprah seems to command that kind of influence. And who doesn't want to tap into that kind of positivity? The reader has changed a lot over the past 10 years. You were talking about the reader earlier and who she is. And, 10 years ago, it's also my anniversary because I started at the magazine 10 years ago.
Okay, wow.
So, I have watched the evolution of the reader, and, the average age of our reader 10 years ago was 37, and the average age of our reader at the moment is 30.
Mm-hmm. Is that where you want it to be? You want it to be you want to have a younger reader?
It's not really what I want. I think that it is wonderful that the brand has evolved to the place that it has evolved to now, because it shows that the brand is still current, but has changed with the times. And I think, the difference with the reader for me, and this is just my personal opinion, having been to the events and talked to the women, that 10 years ago, everyone wanted to be like Oprah. They wanted to be able to change their lives and live their best lives and harness that positive energy. And now, the reader believes that they can be Oprah. They believe that they have the power to be that person, but they want somebody to help them to get there. So at the beginning, 10 years ago, we were playing life coach, and I think now it's more a mentorship role where we are guiding our readers onto that path and saying this is how to get there. But they already believe in themselves enough to say, I know I can get there, but how do I go?
So it's not self-help any longer?
I think, self-help was very much a sign of the noughties, the beginning of the noughties. 2000 saw a whole evolution of self-help gurus. I don't think that the age of the guru is anymore. I think with social media and social networking, where we talk about, connectivity and tribes and bringing people together, and everybody can be a guru. On Twitter, people are putting their own quotes. On our Facebook page, it's so wonderful to see that readers are giving each other advice. I don't think that Oprah sees herself as a guru. I think that she has harnessed the power of social networking and has spread the net wider and allowed people to be their own life coaches, which is really where we are trying to get at.
Let's talk about numbers. Where do we stand with circulation?
Okay, so with circulation, I think we are quite in line with the magazine trend that has seen a drop in numbers, in circulation numbers. The October to December ABC figures are quite fresh. So those October to December 2011, the total paid circulation was about 38,400 in that
and that has
vicinity.
come down somewhat, right, from the sort of middle 40s, slightly higher?
Absolutely. But in that, I would say that it's been fairly constant. Everybody was expecting a huge dip after the show came off air,
yes.
And we didn't actually see a huge nosedive because we never depended on TV to drive sales for us. It was a very different reader. We didn't ever the reader wasn't necessarily the same person who was watching the show. So there was never a direct correlation
it's interesting
there.
You bring that up because I was going to bring that up myself to say, what impact did it have when we don't see Oprah any longer? Why do you think it doesn't make a difference?
I think number one, because the woman who was watching the TV show and the woman who was reading the magazine was different. We really didn't use the TV to drive sales for us. And, when it went off air and then it was on air and then it was on, at one stage it was on ETV and then it was on SABC3, and none of that really impacted on sales. We never saw that changed the sales for us in any way. So I think the perception was that there would be a huge drop in circulation, and there really hasn't been. Our readers are very loyal, and we've seen it remain fairly constant in that 40,000 range. So even though, there are good months and bad months, as you know, last year in August we had close on 50,000. Our August issue was where we launched the Power List. And, then you have other months where it drops down to 32,000 and picks up again.
So hopefully you're looking to drive the birthday, the 10th anniversary awareness sort of drive sales up once again.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Yep.
And we've got golden tickets for the lunch that are hidden in the magazine. So there were 100 golden tickets placed in the magazine.
So they can win them, right? This is the current issue, the April one.
That's the current issue, right.
Okay.
So we've already had about 40 people that have found their golden tickets, which means there's about another 60 that are still hiding somewhere between the pages.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. If I could get my hands on that magazine with those tickets, I'd be there. Because,
you better go out and buy a copy so you can see. Maybe Willy Wonka is smiling on you.
I suppose whether we closet groupies with our wives and whatever, I don't know. That could well be the case. But just lastly, the fact that the magazine is premised completely on the Oprah image and what she stands for. How much of that is an advantage on the one hand, but also a disadvantage because you can't break away from that mold?
I think the advantage has always been for us that Oprah's core philosophy, the authenticity, the integrity of who she is, and her reach and influence has always been a positive area for us to operate from, and it will continue to be. I think the difficulty with that, as you say, is that when Oprah, the brand, takes a knock globally, that the perception is that we will feel that as well. And, with her network or with her school or with all the other entities that she's involved in, that, impacts on us when the same person is on the cover of our magazine every month.
But for now, of course, it's a case of 10 out of 10 for Oprah.
Absolutely. I would say 10 out of 10 for Oprah and 10 out of 10 for the years that we want to still use to evolve the brand even more and touch women's lives even more in South Africa.
I wouldn't expect you to say anything less than that. Thanks so much. Samantha, thanks so much for your time, and hopefully I'll sort of be a part of the celebration in some way or the other.
Fantastic. Thank you, Asha.
All right, pleasure. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Pleasure, bye-bye.
Okay.